Hi, good evening. So please confirm me whether my voice is audible or not. So please confirm whether my voice is audible or not. Yeah, good evening, Chaitra. Is my voice is audible? See, please let me know whether I am clear or not. So I am not getting any answer. So please convey so that I can start my session irrespective of joining of students, because it has already crossed 3 minutes to the scheduled time. So please convey once. So shall I wait for another 2 minutes? Let us see how many will join. So before going to the session, so how about our last session? How many of you have prepared your answer to the questions and um, to the questions which we have discussed yesterday? Can anybody? So there are total 5 people watching now, but nobody is answering except Chaitra. So in 1 minute, I'm going to start the class. So if anybody are unable to listen my audio, please convey me. Otherwise, we'll start the session in 1 minute. So at least kindly give me comments about to what extent was my last class was useful, and how many of you have prepared answers to the questions we have discussed yesterday, and how many of you are having any doubts which are to be clarified by me. So shall I start? Because some people are waiting. So can anybody answer to the question? What qualities does you possess to be an officer in the organization? Or how can you prove that you are the fittest person for this job? Why should we hire you? So all the three questions are one only. So can anybody answer me? Chaitra, I will start when the moment you ask me to start. So 12 people are waiting. So now 13. So now it's 14. Shall I start? Right. Shall we start? Chaitra, once again, shall I? Because 14 are waiting. So now 16. Yes. Hi Mahesh, hi Chaitra, and hi Mr. Team. I don't know a name, but still, everyone, good evening, and everyone, hi, who are attending this class on the second day. So let us start the session from where we have stopped yesterday. Hi Shweta. So I don't know how many of you have followed my guidance in the yesterday session, and how many of you have prepared answers for the questions we have discussed yesterday. So if anybody has a doubt or are not in a position to prepare answers, you kindly contact me over phone or through WhatsApp. In the final, at the end of the session, I'll be telling my phone number. So kindly contact me. So definitely, I'll try to solve your issue. Right? Let us jump into our preparation part two. See, on the day of interview. Now, yesterday we have seen how to prepare before going into interview. So after preparation, now the time has come for us to present before the interviewers. So that on the day of interview, what we have to do, that information now I am going to provide and discuss with you. Yes, good evening, Pradeep Kumar. Right, let us start our session now. So in this presentation of interview on the day of interview, so we will divide it into two parts. One is the points everyone has to follow on the day of interview, and the points have to avoid on the day of interview. So this is very important session, though it is very easy to understand, so it is very difficult to follow. So when the moment we are discussing and I'm taking the class now, you have to start visualizing what I mean to say. Then only you will understand it properly and you will keep everything in mind. Right? So let us start. So on the interview, on the day of interview, you might be staying along with your friends, or you might be staying in your relative's house, or you might be staying in the lodge also. So wherever you stay, you have to get up early on that particular day. You may not be habituated to get up early, but still on that particular day, you have to at least put alarm and make yourself ready to get up early on that particular day. After getting up early, do some physical exercises if possible, and do at least meditation. So by doing this meditation, it will definitely reduce your nervousness and fear over interview. Everything will be destroyed and you will get some self confidence which will allow you to perform well in the interview. So after doing exercises, you have to go through the daily newspaper. So this is very important. Reading newspaper and getting information from the newspaper will definitely play a vital role in the interview. So it is not a joke I am telling, it is very serious. So because I myself was the victim for not reading a newspaper in the year 1999. So let me share that incident. So in 1999, I think 1999 or 2000, I have attended a bank interview. At that time, there was a board called BSRB, now like IBPS. So I was attending the interview. I was about to attend an interview at one particular lodge at 8:30 a.m. in the morning. So just 1 month before the interview schedule, I have been selected to a central government organization and I'm working as 150 kilometers away from the venue. So since I have joined only 30 days back, I have not given permission for leave to attend the interview. So without leave, I started by 4 o'clock early in the morning from the place where I am working. So I felt that by 7:30 I'll be available in the venue so that I'll find some half an hour time to read the newspaper. But unfortunately, the bus was very slow. I have reached the station only by 8 o'clock. So there was only half an hour available for me to getting ready, to change my dress and to read the newspaper or to refer the book. Is it possible within half an hour? No. Even it was not possible for me also. So what I did, I have not read the newspaper. In the bus station itself, I have changed my shirt. I could not change my trouser because lack of time. So I changed my shirt and I washed my face and just I went into the interview venue. After that, I have gone into interview room and I was asked to sit on the chair. So after taking my seat, the interviewer is has asked first question he has asked, have you seen today's newspaper? What I have to say? The same thing I said, no sir. Then he asked me, don't you know the importance of newspaper in the interview? I said, yes sir, I know. But why don't you read? Then my answer was, sir, I couldn't find time to read, sir. By morning 4 o'clock, I am in the journey, so I could not find any time to read the newspaper, sir. Then he said, do you know from where I am coming? I am coming from Delhi. Just now I have come. But when I could read three newspapers, why can't you read at least one? I said, sorry, sir, I could not find the possibility of reading, sir. That was my answer. Then he said, see, knowingly you are doing a great mistake. You know that questions will be asked from the newspaper in the interview, but even then, you have got such a negligence. You are so careless. You are so careless, and you have not given any importance to prepare for the interview. That was the conclusion he has come to, and he has given the biodata form which he is having in his hand. He has given to me and he asked me to leave the interview and you are not eligible to continue further. That was the answer he has given me. So there was no choice for me, so I came out without taking the second question. So in that way, newspaper is must and should to read. Now, how to read newspaper? That is what is very important, because you don't find time to read the newspaper completely, right? So what you have to do? You have to cover all the highlights and headings. Leave the film area and the remaining areas you have to completely read the headings first. And the second thing what you have to do is your interested area. Some people may be interested in sports. Some people may be interested in political issues. Some people might be interested in commerce, business. So likewise, depending upon your interview, you read that particular part completely. And number three, what you have to do? You have to see the photos. You have to see the photos, and if you find anything significant, then you have to read the information there also. The photos are very important. They will ask you, if you answer yes sir, I have seen the newspaper, they will ask you which newspaper you have seen. You may say, sir, the Hindu. Somebody say Economic Times. Then definitely the interviewer, there may be a chance to ask you on the right corner of main page whose photo was there. So this was a similar question asked to many of my students. So that is why, like this, you have to read the newspaper. So you have to read the highlights, you have to see the photos, and you have to completely read your interested area. So after reading the newspaper, then you have to definitely take a breakfast. If your interview is scheduled in the afternoon, you have to take the lunch. So while taking lunch or breakfast, kindly concentrate. So don't, please avoid oily food, especially puri, dosa, those type of tiffins you are not supposed to take. Always preferable to take some idli or appam or idiyappam, some type of tiffins without oil are available. So those you have to consume. And then it is the time to move to the interview. So what you need to do is, you have to, already we have prepared file, we have discussed in the last part 1. So that file you open now and you see whether all the requirements are there available in the file or not. Generally, many people will not attach their call letter along with the certificates in the file. They will have the call letter in their pocket or purse or wallet or handbag, because they need to find the address now and then, because we are not familiar to that place. So definitely we need the address, no? So for finding address frequently, they will keep it outside. But in the interview, they will ask for your call letter. So you first take the call letter and you place in the file, and then be ready to move to the interview venue. And after that, You might have selected the dress for your interview, so that dress you have to wear. So be careful, my dear friends, boys. So if you are wearing a shirt or suit, ensure that each and every button is tied. So don't let any button untied. So if you go untied or folding sleeves, if you go like this, then the impression on you will not be on the positive side. And after that, so depending upon your selection of dress, you might have selected the belt also. So ensure that your belt is not having a big dominated buckle or a designer buckle. So that is very important. Many of my friends will forget this issue. Whatever buckle they are wearing daily, they will take it with them along with the dress. So ensure the designer buckles are not allowed. That means not allowed in the sense, so that will give a different opinion. And after that, you comb your hair properly. So, my dear female students or female friends, so kindly ensure the properly combed hair. So that means you have to put many number of pins so that your hair will not fall on your face and it will not disturb your concentration while giving answers in the interview. And try to avoid applying oil, because heavy oil will make your appearance dull. So if applying oil is unavoidable, then definitely go for light application of oil. So don't apply heavily. And boys, please ensure that your shoe is neatly polished. So already we have discussed yesterday. So definitely once again you have to ensure that it is polished neatly. And make yourself convenient and make such arrangements at least to reach the venue before half an hour to the scheduled time. Half an hour is very limited. It is always better to go before 1 hour, but still I am telling you, at least go before half an hour to the scheduled time. So that is very important, because you may ask me, why sir we have to go early? Because there will be a session before going to the interview for your certificate verification. So there you have to spend some time. So for that, and also secondary, see, when you go for interview, definitely 90% of the candidates will have fear in themselves and will have certain nervousness. So to get accustomed to the venue, in order to relieve from the nervousness you are having, it is always better to go early and sit there and try to accustom yourself to the surroundings of the venue. Then that nervousness will automatically come down. Next, so before going to interview, please keep one thing in your mind. The moment you put your leg, or that means you enter into the venue, your interview gets started. So this is very important. Many of the people doesn't know this. They feel like when the moment we enter into the interview room, our interview starts. In that way, many people will be thinking. So that is not correct. So the right way of thinking is, the moment we enter into the venue, your interview gets started. So that means the actions that you do before entering the interview room and after coming out of the interview room will also get recorded. So that is very important. So please do remember, the moment the moment you enter into the venue, your interview gets started. So be careful and don't involve in any unwanted things or issues, right? And then already we have discussed. So you will have to go for certificate verification. So there you have to extend your utmost cooperation to the person who is verifying to verifying your certificates. What cooperation you need to give is, so you will be giving the xerox copies, that means photocopies of your certificates, and he will be comparing those photocopies with the original certificates. So there you have to give him the certificates in such a way that the copy is perfectly checked with the corresponding original. So that is why in the part 1 I have already told you. So you tag the photocopies of your certificates in the chronological order. In the same order you have to place the originals also. The reason is it will be very easier for comparing and checking, which will help the verifier to do his job without any difficulty. So that is why you have to give utmost cooperation with him. And then after due verification, don't forget to collect your original certificates. So you might be having around 10 certificates, for example. Even see your academic certificates will have some 4 to 5, and after that specialization certificates, any certificates regarding your extracurricular activities, some certificates about your achievements, and some certificate about some no objection certificate for who are all previously employed. So these certificates will be there. So for reserved category people, so caste certificate also will be there. So maybe around 10 certificates everyone will be happy. So ensure that each and every original certificate is collected by you after verification. So at that particular time you may not be in a position to see every certificate has come or not, no. So what you will do, with pencil on the top right corner you put numbers to the certificates in the ascending order, so that it will be very easy to find that any certificate has been missed with the verifier. And then, so before entering into the interview, so this one also you have to remember. You remember already I've discussed, I've already told you yesterday. So you keep in memory that the interviewers are very experienced persons, and they are seniors to you, and they know everything about everything. They know everything. So and also they might have got good information about you also, because your resume will be there in their hands, right? So that is why be careful. Don't try to bluff or don't try to hide any information with them, because they already know about you. So you have to give due respect to the elders. So that you have to remember. You need to be very courteous in the interview. That means you have to follow courtesies also. So that is why you need to be very careful. And very important thing, many of us, except a few, will have nervousness and fear over interview. So the best way, to reduce the nervousness and to come out of fear, the best way is, so before going to interview, that means from today to date of interview, you better have a mirror in your hand. Whenever you prepare, whenever you answer the question which we have discussed, you always answer to the mirror. Then you will be in a position to see yourself, and you can observe your facial expressions, how they are moving, the eyebrows and the lips. So and the hand gestures, everything you can see in the mirror, so that you can correct yourself. And by seeing in mirror, so you will have certain self confidence developed, right? And next, after certificate verification, immediately you will not be allowed into the interview room. So you will have to wait for your turn. So once your turn comes, so until your turn comes, what we have to do in the waiting room, you have to read the book or newspaper which is there with you, and simultaneously keep a view on the surroundings of the venue. So why you need to have a view on surroundings, no? In the interview venue, there may be certain photos or certain banners related to the achievements and CEO, familiar persons of the concerned bank. So if you see them, definitely there may be a chance that some questions will be asked. This has happened to one of my students in one interview. He has asked, so you were there waiting for 3 hours, no? So what you were doing? He said, sir, I was preparing, I am having a book with me, I am just reading the book. And what else you did? He said, sir, I have observed the surroundings also. Then he asked the question, so to the right side of you, there was a big photo placed on the wall. Can you name whose photo was there? See, if we give a right answer to this, then the interviewer will come to an assessment that he has given the correct information and he has accustomed to the atmosphere. So that impression he will get. If we give a wrong answer, what will happen? Then the interviewer will come to a conclusion that this fellow is lying, and he will have the opinion that further answers also he will give in the same manner. Ultimately, he will be rejected. So that is why be careful while answering in the interview. Right, next. And you need to remember this one also. This also we have discussed in the last class. So remember, interview is not a pre-planned one or a predetermined one. It will not be pre-planned. So no interviewer will plan to ask this particular question to this particular candidate. So second question will arise from the first question answer given by the candidate. So you need to be very careful while giving the answer to the previous question, right? So the moment will come, your turn has come, and you are asked to attend the interview in the room. So you have to go to the interview room and then you have to enter. So while going there, ensure that you are carrying your file in the hands and you are walking gently towards the interview room. So after reaching the interview door, so you have to open the door and you have to seek the permission to enter into the room. So ensure while opening the door and after completion closing the door, you are not making any noise. That means very gently you have to open the door. Sometimes there will be a tag attached to the door knob, don't disturb. Normally we will be intentional, we will not observe it. It will be very smaller one. We will not notice it. So without notice, what we will do, we will try to open the door as if we open the door in our house. So ultimately what will happen? So the tag will fall down from the knob. Once it is fall down, then you have to take it and you have to place it, all get disturbed, and your door will be open and close will be there. So it will unnecessarily increase pressure in you. So that is why be careful while opening and closing the door. So open the door and you enter into the room, one step enter into the room and then seek permission to enter further. Many people will do what they will do, no, they will just open 20 to 25% of the door and they peep from the door and they ask permission. So that is a wrong concept. Peeping is not at all allowed and it will have a negative opinion. So the person who peeps from doors or windows, no, that fellow is termed as, everything. So that fellow is termed as a cheater, right? And next, while getting inside, after getting permission from the interviewer, you should display no haste or hurry. You should not be very hurry. You have to be very smooth and normal. You should not show any nervousness and you should not have any fear complex. So this was also happened to me in my first interview in 1998 when I was studying my graduation first year. I am just 18 years old. I went in, I was just literally shivering. So what the interviewer said, you sit there, you sit, no problem, you take 5 minutes and get relaxed, then after 5 minutes only we will start the interview. They have waited for 5 minutes and they asked me, shall we continue? I said, I was not willing to start. Then they understood it, and another 2 minutes also spared by interviewer for me. Even they spare 7 minutes. So I have lost the selection. I didn't get the selection because my interview was not properly went. So likewise, you have to reduce your nervousness, and you should not have fear before entering into the sorry after entering into the interview room. And then before interviewers, you have to stand properly in attention. So stand properly in attention means there is no need to stand stiff. Stiffness is not a good sign, I'm telling you. So you have to stand very relaxed but in attention. Your head and hands should be in proper position. That means head to legs, there should be a straight line formation. You should not bend front and you should not lean back. So those two things should not happen. And then wish the interviewers as you like in your general mode. Yeah, as you wish your elders, your parents, and your teachers, you can wish the same. But accepted manner of salutation is good morning and good afternoon. So depending upon your time of interview. So your panel may contains 3 to 5 members. In those members, maybe sometimes a lady will also be there. So many people say when lady is there in the panel, it is your responsibility to wish the lady first. And many people will support this answer saying that this is our Indian culture. See, I don't think it is right, because will you be searching for a woman in the interview? You'll be searching and wasting time. Where is the woman? You'll be searching. No. If fortunately, if you could see a woman first, then keep wishing her first. There is nothing wrong. But for wishing a woman, don't check where is the woman. So that will be sending a wrong, what do you call, negative impression. And then don't many people will have a tendency, the moment they enter into a room, they will be moving to the chair which is available to have a seat. So that is a very wrong attitude many people will have. So you should not supposed to occupy the seat unless you are offered. So the moment your interview say take the seat, till that minute you have to keep standing only. You are not tend to occupy the seat. If you do that, then it will be having a negative impression. So after taking the seat, while taking the seat, sometimes the chair might not be in a right position where you can have your concentration on all the interviews. Then what you have to do? You have to place it in the right place so that you can see all the interviewers and you can listen and give your answer comfortably. So while adjusting the chair, ensure that there is no sound is made. So that is very important. And while sitting on the chair, you should not take the support of your back, and at the same time you cannot bend forward. So that should be the you need to be straight, but no stiffness should be there in your body. You need to sit straight, but you should not take the support of your back, and you should not bend forward also. So you have to sit straight and you have to wait for the question. And after that, after sitting like that, and you have to place your file on your thighs, and you have to keep your hands also on your thighs only. You cannot fold your hands, you cannot place your hands on the seat or somewhere else on the table. You have to keep your hands on your thighs along with your file. So while sitting, it is not preferred to sit cross-legged. But still, if you are nervous, if you have fear in you, it is always better to sit in cross-leg, and you have to hold the file on the thighs so that your tension will get reduced. And while interview, you are not supposed to stare at the interviewers. What, this fellow is not starting any question? Why this lady is unnecessarily troubling me? So you should not stare like a big fast bowler against a good batsman, right? So you should not stare, and you should not move your head here and there. Many people will do. If there are 4 persons in the interview or 4 to 5, interviewers are there, they'll be seeing it all the people all the time. They'll be moving, they'll be rotating the head, and they'll be observing what are all there in the room. So they'll unnecessarily they'll concentrate on the other things which are not meant to do. So that is the reason why you're not supposed to move your head here and there. You need to maintain eye to eye contact with the interviews. So don't forget this. This is very important. You have to maintain eye to eye contact. That means you have to see the interviewer while giving answer. Right. And afterwards, you should not try to look at the things on the table. This is very, very, very important. You are not supposed to look anything what is happening on the table. Sometimes what they will be doing, no, they will be writing something on the paper. You should not see what they are writing. So that is improper. So you are not supposed to see what happening on the table and what are all the items on the table. Sometimes if you go by 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon session, it will be a tea time. Sometimes they may be having biscuits on the table. You should not look at biscuits. So that is a bad attitude which will not be encouraged in the interview. And then the answer to the question which you give should be in a very calm and composed manner. Before answering the question, you have to listen the question completely. Let the interviewer complete the question, and after listening to it completely, then you have to start the answer. In no instant you can interrupt an interviewer when he is talking. So when the moment every answer you give with every answer you give, no, it should be given with complete self confidence. So that means self confidence. When you will get self confidence, when you know the right answer for a particular question. When you are not clear, or when you are not aware of the question, when you don't know the answer, you are not supposed to give any irrelative answer. So in that case, what you have to do? You have to negotiate the question. So what you have to say? Sir, I have no idea. Never ever say, sorry sir, I don't know. Those words never use in the interview. You just say, sir, I have got no idea about this topic. Very politely, you have to negotiate. Then, so that is what we have discussed. Leave the question which you are not confident to answer. So that means if you are not knowing an answer to a particular question, it is gently to be negotiated. Then you should not have nervousness or try moving hands unnecessarily or touching the things placed on the table. So you are not supposed to have nervousness. Repeatedly, I am saying you should not have nervousness. When this nervousness comes into our mind, when you expect high, then the nervousness will come into our mind. So you take it very easy. If you are selected to this job, we will do. If you are not selected, no problem. You take it as a stepping stone for the next examination. So don't take everything to heart. If you take it, then definitely it will amount your nervousness. And don't try to touch anything which are there on the table. So we have already discussed. So don't touch anything on the table, and don't move your hands. So generally 99% people will have this habit of moving hands while talking, so that we will call it as hand gestures. So don't give any hand gestures. So if you give, it will have a negative opinion. Next, the candidate should feel at home during the interview. So you have to feel that you are staying at home only. Then only you will lose the fear or nervousness which are there in your mind, and you have to maintain interest till the end of interview. So why I especially mention that you have to maintain interest, because see, continuously, if the interviewer asking questions which are not known to you and you are giving answer no idea, definitely you at one point of time you will lose the interest in the interview, because you will come to a conclusion that no, I have not at all answered any question, so I am not going to be selected. So that is the wrong approach you are having. So there are many incidences where only one question has been asked in the answered in the interview, and seven questions were left alone saying that no idea. He has got the selection. So that fellow's name is Kesavulu, who has studied with me, and we both attended the same interview. But I am not selected, but he has got the selection. He has said seven straight questions, no idea, and the eighth question he has answered. So he has got selection. So there may be sometimes this will happen. So never ever reduce your self confidence. Next, very important, keep in mind, when you are answering, you have to maintain same pitch of voice. Sometimes your pitch will increase, sometimes your pitch will come down. So sometimes you will start talking very fast, sometimes you will talk very slowly. So what does it indicates, when you are talking so fast, it means that you are very confident about the answer. When you are talking very slow, that means you are not very confident about the answer. In the same way, if your pitch is high, so it means that you know the answer for this question. If your pitch is low, it indirectly means that you are not aware about the answer. So, and indirectly you give answer to the interviewers that whether you are confident or not confident about this variation in your voice. So that is the reason why, even though you give a wrong answer, ensure that your voice doesn't vary. So that is very important. While giving answers, use simple and proper language. Somebody might be very good in English, so they it is not a very difficult job for them to fabricate their interview. Yes, it is always right to fabricate, but it is the question is whether can you keep up the same tempo till the last question in the interview. So that is very important. At any instant, if you fail to keep up the tempo, then the opinion of the interviewers will also get changed. So it is always better to go with simple language only. And the answer which you are giving, no, it should not be very elaborative and very extensive. So your answer should be very precise and it should be very relevant to the point. Don't give unnecessary answers, and don't try to share your views, and don't try to prolong your answer. And then don't use the same word quite often. Many people may use only single word many times in one particular sentence. So that will be a wrong practice. So that you have to avoid. So never try to give wrong answers or bluffing. Yesterday we have taken much time to discuss about this bluffing. So I given the examples also. So kindly don't give any wrong answers. If you are offered to have tea or coffee, don't hesitate to have. So this is very important. When you went in a tea time or a coffee time, you will be offered sometimes tea or coffee. Even if you are not habituated, it is always better to accept their offer, because it shows the courtesy towards the elders you have. So you have it, you take your time to completely drink it. So don't leave the cup or saucer half left. So you have to completely drink the coffee, and then only you have to put the cup aside. So sometimes they will be offering you choice whether you require a tea or coffee, then you can go for your choice. If they offer you only tea, then you have to take tea only. You cannot have a choice of, sir, I don't drink tea. Can you please offer me coffee? So in that way, you are not supposed to ask. Sometimes they will give you biscuits also. You have to accept the biscuit, and while eating the biscuit, ensure that you are eating properly. So you ensure that nothing fell on the table and nothing fell on the interviewers also. And while taking coffee also, so they will give in cup and saucer. Many people will not be in a position to drink through cup and saucer. So be careful while drinking with cup and saucer. The amount of heat you may not be knowing from outside. So use no idea wherever you doesn't know the question. The already we have discussed. So these are the points you have to keep in mind, and these are the things you have to follow. So precisely, so what you have to follow is you should remove nervousness and fear from you, and you should have interest to take the interview, and your answers should be very precise and very relevant, and answer should be in composed and calm manner. You should have a good attire, wearing good dress along with shoe, belt, everything. So you have to come early to the venue. You have to read the newspaper, and you have to enter the room very gently, and you have to sit only when you are asked to sit. So these are the things we have discussed now. Now, very important part is points to avoid. So what are the points we have to avoid? So this is very important. You see, avoid being nervous. So of course we have discussed a lot about it. No need to extend it further. And avoid having high expectations. Don't have high expectations. Don't think that this is your life and death issue. If you are not selected, my life is over. In that way, you don't take. If you think like that, definitely it will add more pressure on you, and it will definitely disturb your performance in the interview. So that is why don't have high expectations. So be relaxed and perform well in the interview. So don't eat oily food. So that already we have discussed. And don't smoke on that particular day if anybody is having the smoking habit. And don't eat pan also. Many people will be having this habit. So avoid pan also. And don't apply oil to hair. So if it is unavoidable, apply very little amount of oil, and avoid wearing too much jewelry. It is very important to female candidates. So don't wear too much jewelry. So that means chains, everything. So too much jewelry you have to avoid, and the number of bangles you have to limit it to 2 to 4, not more than 4. So and also you have to avoid heels. In last part we have discussed you are not supposed to wear the heeled chapel, and don't wear any accessories which makes lot of noise. So this is very important. So take care of these things, and avoid carrying mobile. Of course, even if you carry mobile is not allowed into interview room, so you have to leave the mobile outside itself. And avoid excessive makeup. So this is where female candidates will have to taken care. So no makeup is entertained. So apply a snow, it's enough. So don't go for heavy makeup. And then after, while waiting for interview, that means already we have discussed, no, we will be asked to wait after verification until your turn comes. So while waiting, you are not supposed to move restlessly. That means you are not supposed to move here and there, going out and coming in, going out, going to bathrooms and going to drink water, going to purchase something from outside. Don't do this. So if you are doing this, so definitely it will give an impression that you are 100% nervous. So don't move restlessly, and avoid talking to others. Many people will suggest that, so to avoid nervousness or to reduce the nervousness which you have, it is best way to talk to others in the interview area. But I don't think it is right. If you talk to others, no, there may be a chance that your way of preparation will get disturbed. So it is always better to avoid talking to others, and avoid discussing about the interview experience. You will be very eager to ask the somebody who is coming out of the interview room. You will be very eager to ask what is his experience in the room. Don't do this. So never happens that same identical interviews will be taken place for two people. So probably the fellow who has come out of the room might be from the triple E background, and you are going inside and your background is MCA. does the interview will be identical for these two people? No, there is no chance at all. That is the reason why it is always waste of time. Unnecessarily, don't waste time by talking to others in the interview. So that is these things you have to remember. So again, I am telling, don't wear heavy jewelry, don't wear many number of bangles, and don't wear any accessories which are doing noise. So this is very important, girls, keep in mind. Next, don't expect that interview for two candidates will be identical. So it will not be identical. So always, in the we have discussed in the earlier instant that second question depends on the answer for the first question. If anybody comes along with you, if anybody accompany you, ask them not to involve in any unwanted issues, because for them there is no interview, they will not be having any pressure, so they will be doing things on their own wish and will. So ask them not to do those such type of things, and ask them to sit along with you calmly. Okay, should have no hesitation to face the interview. So why this word, no hesitation? Why people will have hesitation to face the interview? Yes, there may be certain candidates who are hesitated to face the interview. So I will tell two or three incidents for this. Number one, some people, they might be writing the bank examinations only by the force of their parents and well wishes. Their intention might be different from banks. So without interest, they will be writing, but since they are intelligent people, they will be selected for interview also. Those people, they will not be 100% interested to participate in the interview. In the second case, some people will be already working in different departments. So they may feel that the departments in which they are working will be far better than these banks. In such case also, they will have a slight hesitation to appear in the interview. If you have such hesitations, it is always better to not attend to the interview. While entering into the room, no sound to be created. So already we have discussed, while opening the door or closing the door or adjusting the chair, you are not supposed to make any noise. Don't peep through the door to seek permission. So should not place anything on the table including hands. So while adjusting the chair or while taking the seat, so you are not supposed to keep the file on the table, and you are not supposed to put your hands also on the table, and should not interrupt the interviewer while he is speaking. Yes, you are not supposed to interrupt while he is speaking. Let him complete and then you have to start. Don't elaborate any answer unless asked for. So there may be certain questions where you are supposed to elaborate. So they themselves will ask you to elaborate your answer. Say they will ask like this. If you answer something, then they will ask you, how can you support your answer? In such case, you have to elaborate. Unless they ask to do, you are not supposed to elaborate any answer. Never try to use the words, sorry sir, I don't know. Never try to use those words. So then what you have to use? You have, when the moment when a question is asked before you, and if you are unable to understand what they have asked, or unable to listen properly what they have asked, then you have to say, pardon me. Sir, please pardon me. Then only you have to say, pardon me. You should never say, sorry, sir, I didn't get you. Sir, please come again. Such type of words you are not supposed to use in the interview. You should not show any emotions and ill manners. Sometimes what will happen in the interview, no? You will be giving answers which were known to you. Sometimes the interviewers feel like testing you. So they will try to test you emotionally, whether you are emotionally strong or weak. So that assessment they will make by saying that the answers confidently which you are giving are wrong. They will say, so they will ask you, for example, I am saying it is a very silly example, but still I would like to say this. So they will be asking you, what is the formula of a plus b whole square? Then you will say the formula, a square plus 2ab plus b square. Then that moment interviewer will say, from where you have learned this answer, in which school you are studying. like this, like these questions, no, they try to irritate you. Why they irritate you? Because they want to test you emotionally whether you are strong or weak. So there you have to take care. Never try to show your emotions and ill manners. You need to have a balanced set of mind. You should not hesitate to answer the questions. Yes, this already we have discussed. Avoid laughing. You know the difference between smiling and laughing. Yes, you need to have a smile. The moment you wish them good morning or good afternoon, you have to wish them with a smiling face, but not with a laughing face. And at the same time, even in the interview, even if a funny incident has come, then also you have to restrict your laugh to a certain extent. You're not supposed to laugh. And also, please avoid giving facial expressions. We are all give facial expressions by our eyebrows, with our lips. So you have to reduce the facial expressions, because if you give facial expressions, automatically from your expression they will be understanding the confidence levels which you are having while giving the answer. Never look dejected, depressed or disappointed. So when the question of disappointment will come, when you are unable to perform well, even if you are not performing well also, don't show them with your disappointment. That is what this line means. Avoid talking more than what is needed. Don't talk unnecessarily. So talk to the extent which is required in the interview. Should not lose the balance or presence of mind or temperament. Never put a counter question to the interviewer. So never try to put a question to the interviewer. At the same time, never try to argue with the interviewer. Never try to share your answer. Should not wait for a moment when the interview is over. So they will give an indication to you. You may leave, or it's up. So you can leave now. So like that, they will give an intimation to you that your interview is over. The moment they give a hint, you should not wait for further. So what you have to do immediately, you have to get up from the chair. So while getting up, ensure that no sound is made and you are properly carrying the file with you. So get up and wish them, thank you sir, thank you for the opportunity. So you wish them and straight away you leave the room. While coming out of the room, you are not supposed to turn back and look at them. So please do remember, you are not supposed to turn back and look at them. So these are the points you have to avoid at the time of interview. So we have discussed two things. One is the points to follow, and the other side is points to write. So now, important factors. So is it okay? Are you able to follow? Right, I think it's right now. Right. Important factors responsible for failure. This is very important. Many people will get rejected because of lack of these explained factors. You see, number one, poor personality. Personality is not only about the dress which you are wearing, the attire in which you are appearing. Personality will also have, see, a poor appearance due to unpressed and shabby dress. Without proper dress, if you attend, then definitely it will have a poor impact on your personality. And other factors of personality are lack of courtesy. So that is why I told you, if you are offered to have coffee or tea or biscuit, you accept it. That means it is the courtesy that you are showing toward the elders. And manners. The manners, in the manner which you present yourself before them. So that also matters, and that also account as a personality. So these may cause damage to your personality. Without proper manners, without proper courtesy, without proper dress, if you perform, definitely it will have a poor opinion on your personality. And then inability to express clearly. So that means number two, lack of communication skill. So this is very important, in every area communication is must. So inability to express clearly and precisely, if you are unable to answer clearly and precisely, and using poor grammar, if your grammar is very poor. So if you are very aggressive while answering, so if you fail to have eye to eye contact, this already I have repeated three times, eye to eye contact is very important, it is must. If you fail these things, if your voice is varying, very high pitch or low pitch, or very fast and slow, and if your handshake is cold, very cool handshake if you offer, then this will suggest that you have got, you're lagging in communication skills. So there, where is the question of handshake? Handshake you are not supposed to offer to the interviewers. If they offer handshake, definitely you have to offer them a handshake. Unless they offer you, you are not voluntarily supposed to offer the cool handshake. So keep in mind, answer should be very precise. So you should not you should not have variation in the voice. Next, dull interview session. When your interview session will become dull, you see, giving disorganized answers or superficial answers. So if you are giving unarranged answers, if you are giving unilateral answers, if you are giving answers depending upon what was happened earlier, so those answers will not be accepted by the interviewers. Avoiding direct answers, if you are answering indirectly, so they will not take your answers. Don't bluff. Condemning past employer, this is very 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 important point, you have to make it. So anybody is having a previous service experience, they will ask you a question, what are the reasons for leaving the previous employment? Then you are not supposed to say or blame your past employer for your resignation. Then trying to influence through names of influential personalities. Don't do this. You may say, sir, I am a place from my neighbor is the chief minister of this state, sir. So I know him very well. Even I know the CEO of this bank, sir. So in that way, don't try to use the familiar personalities names. So don't try to criticize government and its policy. You may not be liking the current government and its policies. That is your personal issue. Never ever try to share those issues in the time of interview. And you are not supposed to criticize any government official, any government policy, any government. Showing disrespect to parents, it is very wrong. Even in the part one, we have discussed about Sanjay Manjrekar, how he has treated, how what recognition he has given to his father. So disrespect to the parents, your elders, and educational institution. That means you might be taking coaching from several institutions. They will ask you, what about how about the coaching offered in your institution? You have to what you have to say. You have to say excellent coaching they will give, even though you like or not. It's a different issue. But your answer should be like this. So excellent coaching they will be offering, sir. It is very good institute, sir. Faculty is very nice, sir. So that answer you have to give. You are not supposed to put blame on any teacher, any educational institution which you have got, which you have studied. And the next point is lack of knowledge. So while going to the interview, you have to prepare about the organization and the headquarters of the organization and the symbols and tagline and the achievements they have made. So what is their motto? These are all things you have to prepare. You need to have basic information of the organization. If you don't have this, then definitely you will be rejected. Next, improper temperament. So this is very important. Already we have discussed when you will become hot tempered. So you are not supposed to be very hot tempered in the interview, and you should have a broad mind. So narrow minded answers they will not accept. You should not have extreme views. You are not supposed to give any prolonged answers, and you are not supposed to be very aggressive while giving the answers, and you should not show that your carelessness should not be evident in your answers, and you should be very patient while answering the questions. Otherwise your interview will be treated as a negative. So wait, there is a problem in the interview, right? And the final problem is undesirable mannerism. So undesirable mannerism means giving giving answers using telegraphic language. You know what is telegraphic language? Yes, no, I went, I gone, I've read, I've seen. If you give like this, then it will. This is to be called as telegraphic language. So don't give such type of answers in the exam. So certain closed questions will be asked you. Questions are, say for example, they will ask you, do you like your father? Then what would be your answer? You have to say yes, that's all. For those type of questions, you have to use only yes or no. So those type of questions are to be called as closed questions. So if at all interviewer asked you closed question, then you have to answer yes or no in one single word. Now avoid moving restlessly. So while answering, ensure that you are not whispering and murmuring. So if you are whispering, they may not be in a position to listen your answer, and they have to concentrate on your answer to listen what you are saying. So if you are whispering, it indirectly means that you are not confident about your answer. And then using too many gestures, hand gestures, if you are moving your hand this way and that way, that definitely will have a negative impact. So these are the undesirable mannerisms everyone will have. So you have to correct yourself if you have these type of undesirable mannerisms. So you already know. So first impression is always a best impression. So while entering into the interview, you try to get a good impression by wishing them with a smile, and and start answering in a very calm and composed manner, giving relevant answers very precisely. So this is the performance you have to give on the day of interview. So there ends the interview preparation. So now on the first part we have discussed about the questions which there may be a chance asking in the interview, and the way you have to construct the answer also we have discussed. So after preparing and how you have to produce on the day of interview, that now we have discussed. And yesterday, while discussing the questions, I have left unanswered for certain questions. Now I am trying to answer this. You can please listen here. So we have discussed about the hobbies. Many of my friends also asked which is the best hobbies are in the point of view of interview. You can see here best hobbies. Number one hobby, best hobby is playing any game. See, if your hobby is playing, then you have to prepare about the sport that you are playing, the rules of the sport, the number one players of the sport, in which countries the sport is played. So, what are the recent tournaments or trophies that have been conducted, and who have won those trophies? So, this basic information you need to have. See, now you need to be very ready with the information. Now, Australian Open tennis is going on. So, by the moment you attend the interview, it will be finished, and you have to have the information about the winners also. And side by side, India is playing Test match series along with England. So, that information you need to have. So, whatever the sports happening right now, you have to get the information about those things. Singing, very very important and very best hobby. If your hobby is singing, Please note it down. If your hobby is singing and if you are asked to sing a song in the interview, and without any hesitation, if you sing properly and if they are satisfied with your singing ability, then you note it down, you will be selected in the interview irrespective of further performance in the interview. This has happened several times. So singing, if you are able to sing before them, then it's okay, it is over. So definitely you will get the selection. So they will be asking certain questions or even on singing also. Are you a professional singer? So that answers you can give. So dancing, yes, this is also good hobby. And gardening. If you go for gardening, there may be certain questions they will be asking. They will be asking, is it your profession or a hobby? So that you have to answer. If it is a profession, then they will ask you what is the amount, what is the capital that you have invested, and what is the expected growth in future, and how much you are earning. So what is the way you do gardening, and what are the tools you use. So what about drip irrigation? Several types of irrigations they will ask. So questions will be asked, but you are supposed to give the answers. Stitching, it's a good hobby, no issue. So teaching, very good hobby. So you can support your answer like anything while teaching. So you may say, sir, teaching is my hobby, and I made it a habit also because it will give a self satisfaction to me by teaching or by imparting education to others, and I am doing service to the poor people also. In that way you can support your answer, you will have always plus point with that. Designing is a good answer, but questions will be there and you can answer to the questions also. Painting, generally if anybody says painting is my hobby, then two questions they will be asking, which type of artist are you? Are you a pencil artist? Are you a brush artist? So those answers you can give. If you say pencil artist, they will ask you who is the familiar pencil artist from India. So those type of questions they will be asking. So those answers can be answered, no problem. Cooking. This cooking is an excellent hobby, especially for male. For female, this hobby may not have a good impact. For male, it is a very good hobby, and for male, they will be asking, so if cooking is your hobby, what is your favorite dish? They will ask. So if you name any dish and they will ask you, how can you prepare this dish? So you have to say from A to Z. So what are the ingredients? How you do? So what is the duration of the preparation? So these things you have to explain. Visiting places, it can also be treated as a good hobby, but definitely they will ask lot of questions in visiting places. Photography, again same thing, they will ask lot of questions. Cycling, there may not be many questions from this area, but cycling is okay, good hobby, reasonably good hobby. And numismatics, everybody knows numismatics is collection of coins. If you say this is my hobby, then they will ask the currency of Mexico. What is the currency of Mexico? What is the currency of South Africa? Like that, they will be asking, and also they will be asking you whose photo is available in India's 2000 rupees note. Likewise, question is also can be asked, and even if anybody is going with numismatics, it is always better to uh, see the Indian note, 500 rupees note or 2000 rupees note. Every note you have to see and you have to understand what are all printed on the note. So that the number of languages, how many are there. So that type of questions they will be asking. Philately, again, it is also a good hobby, but questions definitely they will ask what is the highest amount of stamp available in India, on that particular stamp whose photo has been printed. Such questions they will be asking. And the second type of hobbies which are very tough to support. Number one, reading. See, reading, if reading books is your hobby, the people who are sitting there are well educated than you. Definitely, they will also have the habit of reading. So, if they start asking questions, you will not be in a position to support your answer. At the same time, watching TV is not that good hobby. So you have to support your answer. Surfing internet, don't know. So many recently, many of my students have gone with this hobby in the biodata, but fortunately, they have not asked any questions about the hobby. So I feel that it is not making any impact in the interview. Playing with kids, it's okay, reasonably okay. And about achievements, does you have any achievements? If question is asked, if you have achievements, it's okay. If the candidates who are not having any achievements, you can say this as an achievement in your life. So attending interview itself is a big achievement for me, sir. I have written 3 4 examinations. So I have not been selected in any examination, but in this examination, I has come to the final stage. That's it. That is interview. This itself is the biggest achievement in my life. In that way, you can support your answer. Somebody, they might have studied up to plus two in the local medium. After that, they might have shifted to the English medium. Even after shifting to English medium, they might have achieved more than 70 percentage of marks or 60 percentage of marks. In that case, you can say that, sir, I have changed my medium suddenly in my graduation, but still I could secure a good amount of, so a good percentage of marks. This is my achievement. That answer also you can give. And about strength, we have discussed. So now, if they asked about your strength, if you have different strengths, it's okay. If you do not know what to say, you say better, I am a good hard worker, sir. Then they will ask you what you have achieved in your life with this hard working. Then again, you have to say the same about two achievements. Sir, with my hard work only, I have come here, sir. I am before you, sir. Otherwise, I would have not, sir. And then adaptability. So adjusting, so knowing everything, very learning everything very quickly. So these can be your strengths. And goal, everybody will have their own goal. It is okay. If anybody doesn't have a goal, you can go like this: want to be a respectable person in the society, want to serve the people who are in need. So there ends today's session. So I again wish you all the very best for all the candidates who are appearing for interview, and I hope I have given you a good guidance regarding preparation for interview and the presentation of the interview also. So keep practicing and keep preparing well so that you can perform well in the interview. So if you have any doubts, so you can please note my number. So I am saying my number now. So my WhatsApp number is 7382107490. If you have any doubts regarding any interview or anything else, any subject in the competitive examinations, you can WhatsApp me, or you can straight away call me. I'll be available to answer everything. So for next updates, please try to join my Telegram channel, which has been given in the description. So join there to get the updates of the next upcoming videos. Thank you one and all. Namaste.